The woman on the market steps wore 3 sweaters, though the noon sun pressed heat into the broken pavement. She wore them like armor, stitched together with string and fear, and the flies loved the tangles of her hair. No one sat near her. Mothers steered children away. Shopkeepers pointed their fans toward her and made faces. She kept her eyes on a stray dog that had chosen her shadow as shelter. "Miss," said a voice that carried no sharp edge, "you look thirsty." She flinched, bracing for the taunt that usually followed. Instead, a bottle of cold water hovered in her periphery. She lifted her gaze. The man was ordinary. Sun-browned, a hint of flour dusting the sleeves of his shirt, a canvas bag slung over his shoulder. "I'll leave it here," he added, setting it on the step before her. "I'm Yusuf." She waited for the rest. "Get out, you stink, go die somewhere else," but he only stepped back to give her space. The dog lapped at the puddle that formed under the bottle's sweating plastic. She finally reached, fingers trembling, and drank. "It's Saira," she said, finding her voice, and immediately regretted it. Words made people think they could step closer. "Nice to meet you, Saira." He said it as if they were equals at a bus stop. A pair of teenage boys walked past, pinching their noses, snickering. Saira folded smaller into herself, the smell of old sweat and alley rot rising like a wall around her. Yusuf looked at the boys, then back to Saira. "There's a community bath 2 streets over," he said. "I keep it up for the bakery workers. It's empty for another hour. It's private. Can give you the key. My sister is there. She won't let anyone bother you." She shook her head fast. Baths came with traps, with hands that grabbed when you were cornered. "No, I won't come in," he said. "You take the key. You lock the door. I'll wait outside in the courtyard where you can see me. If you change your mind." He set a small wrapped cake beside the bottle and walked away, stopping under a jacaranda tree across the street, visible and easy to flee from. Saira ate the cake in tiny fearful bites, watching him. He did not watch back. He helped a boy lift a sack of rice from a cart. He returned change to an old man. He whistled, just a note, and the stray dog wagged his bony tail. The cake tasted of cinnamon and something like home. The word ballooned in her chest until it hurt. She stood, wavered, then crossed the street with the wary courage of someone who had survived too long to trust easily. "Just the key," she said. Yusuf's sister, Layla, met her at the community bath. She was brisk and matter-of-fact, the way nurses are when fear makes you act like a cornered cat. "Everything's clean," Layla said. "You lock it. Take your time. There's a fresh towel and soap. When you're done, leave your old clothes in the hamper. We'll wash them if you want." Saira's throat closed. "You'll throw them away. If that's what you prefer." Layla's tone made throwing away sorrow sound like an option. Inside, the little tiled room smelled of lemon and steam. Saira slid the bolt, turned the tap, and flinched at the first touch of warmth. Then the water poured, thick and forgiving, and the alley ran off her skin in ribbons of dark. She watched it swirl around the drain, weeks of sleeping rough, tears she hadn't allowed herself, the sourness of fear. She washed her hair until it hung heavy and clean down her back. She cried into her hands, and the water carried even that away. When she opened the door, Layla stood with a bundle. Soft sweatpants, a shirt, underthings still creased from the store. "We're about the same size," Layla said. "Keep them." Saira wanted to ask why, but the question felt too fragile to voice. Outside, Yusuf waited in the courtyard just as promised. He didn't stare. He only lifted the canvas bag and cleared his throat awkwardly. "I made lentil soup this morning," he said. "My mother scolded me for over-salting it. She'll be delighted to have a new judge. Your mother, Saira echoed, the word a bridge she wasn't sure she could cross. We share a small flat above the bakery, he said. We eat early. You're welcome. If you don't like us, you never have to see us again. He started walking without looking back, leaving the choice behind him like a length of rope she could pick up or leave. Saira surprised herself by following. Yusuf's home smelled of soap and cardamom. A green plant stretched toward the window. A framed school certificate hung crookedly on the wall. In the kitchen, a tiny woman with a neat braid stirred a pot. This must be Saira, the mother said, as if girls named Saira came over every day. Sit. Eat before the soup scolds me again. Hey. Saira held the spoon with both hands to steady it. When she reached for bread and her sleeve slipped back, the thin scars like pale ivy on her wrist flashed. The mother's eyes flicked there, then to Saira's face, and no one said a word about it. It was a great kindness. After Saira offered to wash the bowls. I used to do this, she said, and realized she had confessed something. That once, before loss piled up like winter drifts, she had belonged to a kitchen. Then you'll keep me from ruining the pots, Yusuf said, grinning. Over the next days, the market learned a slower story. Saira returned to the bath each morning with the key. She sat in the bakery's back room in borrowed slippers, learning to twist dough. Yusuf showed her the oven, the way the bread should sound when you thumped it. Layla taught her how to pin her hair up out of the flour with 2 quick clips. They gave her work that paid, and a room, small, with a window a pigeon visited like a friend. Sometimes the old panic buzzed in her chest, that low swarm warning that nothing lasted. Once, a shopkeeper who had made faces at her before accused her of pinching fruit months ago. Saira froze, the old shame rising like floodwater. Yusuf stepped forward, not angry but steady. She works with me, he said. And if there's a debt, we settle it now. He laid coins down, far more than the bruised memories deserved. The shopkeeper, who enjoyed easy victories, blinked, then shrugged and slid the money back. Come by for tea, he muttered to Saira. On the house. The market shifted a fraction, then a fraction more. One evening, rain stitched a delicate pattern on the city and the power flickered. Saira stood on the flat roof outside the kitchen door, letting the cool mist kiss her skin. Yusuf joined her with 2 mugs of tea. I went back today, she said, staring at the wet geometry of the street below. To the alley. There was a metal tin under the broken crate. My father's watch. I thought it was gone. Do you? Yusuf began, then stopped. He set the second mug near her hand. I'm glad it's found you again. Saira slipped the watch from her pocket, its face cracked, the hand still and stubborn. She smiled. It doesn't matter if it works. It remembers him. They stood in the rain that wasn't quite rain, listening to the hum of the city, the faint scrape of a chair in the apartment next door, the soft clatter of Layla putting cups away. I smelled like fear, Saira said, so softly the night could have kept the words. You smelled like someone who had walked through fire and refused to fall, Yusuf replied. Now you smell like cardamom and flour and home. Saira laughed, a sound that startled the pigeon from the window ledge. She slipped the watch onto her wrist, a talisman from before, and turned toward the open kitchen door where light spilled warm and ordinary.